Hi everyone, it's Shrunk. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Maria. I'm known as FridaySews on social media, and this is my sewing studio. One of the tops that I made recently shrunk, but let me tell you about what I'm currently wearing. So this top is a wool knit. I bought the fabric for $5 a meter from one of the local fabric shops, and I've used Tessuti's basic t-shirt pattern. I don't remember which one it is, so I'm sorry about that. I wanted a v-neck, and I wanted to have a v-neck with a hood, and being the most accurate person that I am, the v didn't really work, but the hood did. And because it's a bit cold today, because it's winter, I really enjoyed wearing this. And honestly, this fabric for $5 a meter has been thrown in the wash on more than one occasion. It hasn't shrunk, so I was really pleased about that. Anyway, let's get on to what I sewed. The top that you can see behind me is a McCalls 4261 pattern that I've sewn quite a bit. Now, it's view B, and what I want to point out is the sleeve is probably a 3/4 length sleeve because it's for yoga. So this is a yoga set, and it basically has 3 pattern pieces: the front, the back and the sleeve, and that's all that there is. When I made this one was after I made this one. This one or that one. This one is fabric that I bought, I think, in Portland, 2011. I like this color because it's a really dark green, but it's like a black green, and you know how I love wearing green. That's why this was bought but never sewn, but now it has been sewn. Then I had a go at this pit trading velvet that I bought again ages ago, and this is the remnant that I had. If I had done the pattern placement based on this basic dress form, I wouldn't have cut it that way. It's really big rows. It's kind of right on the bust point on that dress form. However, on me, this is where it ends up. So on my body, the rose is actually just above my bust point. So I'm fine with that. And the nice thing about this velvet is it doesn't feel plasticky, which is what I thought it was going to be like, now that I'm a bit more sensitive to fabrics that are not natural. I'm actually quite pleased that this worked out. So one of the sleeves has a bit of rose on it. The other one doesn't. It's kind of black. And on the back, again, the rose is there. It's got a sway back adjustment. So look, what it means is on the back of the pattern, I do a centre back seam, and I'll curve it at the waist so that it goes into my curve as well. I mean, that's as basic as it is. Sorry. The reason I was talking about the sleeve was I actually added 6 centimeters to the length of the sleeve, and where I added the extra length was at this point, not at this point. And what I found is that I need to, now that I've sewn it again, when I sew the sleeve, I need to make it a lot slimmer at the wrist so that it actually is firm against my body, because it's winter and I don't want to feel cold. And I've kept everything long because, again, I want coverage and I want them to be functional so that they keep me warm. The other thing I did during the week was I have this dark green knit, and it does have good stretch to it. So this has been washed, dried, and it's ready to be cut out. So this will be cut out. I promise you it'll be cut out, but not next week. I've got another beautiful knit fabric which has got stretch. It'll end up being either this top again, because really it's only 3 pattern pieces, or it might end up being one of the ones which was a high V-neck, again for coverage. Then, sorry, I'm picking up another piece. Now this is a pretty good match for that colour. What you can see at the back here is it's got lines on it, and those lines are spandex or elastane. So this is more for a workout type of sweatshirt, and I have a pattern for that. And honestly, I want to make these knits because they're wool, or this is a wool blend. And they'll get thrown in the wash because they've already been thrown in the wash the way I would normally clean, wash clothes. And, you know, if the fabric survives that first wash, it's going to last for the rest of the washes. This one did get washed as well. Now, the reason I haven't done the Chanel jacket planning as yet is because it's now, what, the 17th of July? And I've got until the end of August to make 2 Frocktails outfits and possibly a jacket to go with them. I've already resolved in my mind what I'm going to do. And what I'm picking up is the Amelia dress pattern. It's an exclusive one from Minerva.com. And I've already done this dress twice. And what I'll be doing is making a long sleeve version of this. I like the V-neck. I like the fact that I can put an invisible zip at the back. I already know that the length goes with the black evening shoes that I have because I've got Scottish Frocktails and London Frocktails coming up. Let me show you the 2 fabrics that I have in mind for the next Amelia dress. I think this one will probably end up being Scottish Frocktails, I'm not sure. Again, because I've got brocades and I still have this thing for all things tie. I have this fabric. And while it's not a soft fabric, it's a very firm fabric. It's not going to keep me warm, but it will look beautiful. And I think this is going to be a really good one to play with. So I can either use that sort of part for the bodice and then play with this part for the skirt. That's the thinking at the moment. And then I still have this fabric, which is softer, not as firm as that fabric. I'll just show you one other thing. I bought this from the sewing basket and there's 3.5 meters. It's only 1 meter wide, and it cost me $17.50. I think it'll look good at night because their Scottish Frocktails is at night, and I could possibly make a hip length jacket to go over it for when I'm going from the hotel to the venue. I'm not sure, but I'm keeping those dark colours. And then for London Frocktails, I've got an ombre fabric coming, which is a viscose crepe. As I said, it's ombre. So I'm thinking of the colour at the top on the bodice and then the darker colour on the skirt. And then I'll have probably the same sort of look on the long sleeves. And while I'm using the same dress pattern for both events, they're 2 different fabrics, so there'll be 2 different looks. Because we're traveling, I only want to take minimal clothes because I've got to do the picking up of the bag every day. Here's my thinking. Dark colours, black shoes, black bag, a dark jacket, and I'm done. I'm good, I think. That's the thinking at the moment. It's shrunk. The textured rose knit top that I did not pre-wash shrunk. So what I did was I added some cuffs to give it a bit more length because they shrunk. And then I added a cuff on the waistband as well. I did not unpick any of the hems on the sleeve or on the top. I just sewed over the top because it's a knit. It doesn't matter. So pre-wash. So that textured rose knit top can still be worn because I fixed it. It's Friday, right? So yesterday I went to Sydney's version of the sort of stitch shows that you have in the UK. You know the fabric markets that you have overseas? We don't have them here. So there was none of that there. They're trying to mix it up and please all people. But the reason I go there is to say hello to all of the people in the sort of sewing industry because they're all in one place. And then while I was there, so Lisa, who is Sneaker Stitch Australia, I picked up a pack. This is a thank you pack for having her on Sew Organised Style podcast. And in the pack has everything that I need to sew some sneakers. And I've basically gone, everything is white. So white shoelaces, sole, the grommets. These sneakers won't get sewn until at least October. So thank you, Lisa, for the pack. I really appreciate the gesture, and they will be made when we get back from November onwards. And the reason I'm picked white is because my summer clothing is based on white. So why not have shoes that are totally white? I can Scotch guard them on the outside, and when I scuff them, I can throw them in the wash in the lingerie bag, and they'll be fine. They'll be white again. So that's my thinking. That's the plan. On the Mimiquin's front, the reason I wanted to show you this stock standard dress form is because it isn't my shape, and I've been investigating what I could do on this one to shape it without having to use the Mimiquin's one. But at the end of the day, the Mimiquin's one has got all my curves in the right spot. My bust does not sit at that point. That's in on the cards. Today I'm doing a few body scans here in Sydney for Mimiquin's UK, and they've given me the okay from their perspective that if anyone is visiting Sydney and they want to get a body scan done to get the process started for their own custom dress form, you can direct message me either on YouTube, on Instagram, or grab my email details on the Sew Organised Style podcast website. I put a post out on my personal Instagram account. For anyone who's visiting for Sydney Frocktails, direct message me if you would like to start the custom dress form process of getting your body scanned while you're here in Sydney. Just contact me. We can organise something. This week on Sew Organised Style podcast, the 100 Hearts Project video and audio went out. I'm so pleased that Rhonda agreed for me to do this particular podcast. She came on the podcast in July 2025 when she had her health diagnosed correctly because she's got heart disease that she's managing. Women's heart disease detection and diagnosis is really difficult in all countries. And you'll realize that when you watch Sew Organised Style podcast, the 100 Plus Hearts Project, because the Guardians of the Heart were from all around the world, and they included Julie from New Zealand, Susie from Spain, Lindy from Germany, Diane from the States, Helen from the UK, and Nicole, who is here from Australia. And in her family, there's been over a dozen of her family that have died of heart disease. So I really hope that if this is an issue that you feel close to, have a look at this week's 100 Hearts Project episode on Sew Organised Style podcast. Many thanks to everyone who was involved, and I'll leave it at that. So give this episode a go. On Sever50 on Instagram has fixed the issue. If you schedule a post, say on a Friday, to go out on a Sunday, and you tag share Sever50, it was losing that tag. That's now been fixed, so that's great. But the other good thing with Instagram is there was an issue where in the settings, Instagram had put in how you could turn off the setting for AI to collect your images, your videos, your reels. Because of the backlash that happened worldwide, they've now taken that off. Say yay. Thank goodness everyone complained about it, because that's your privacy, your content is yours. It's no one else's. And if they decide to farm it, that should have been something that we were told about to start off with, right? So remember to add at ShareSover50 on your posts on Instagram so that we can find you in chronological order. Now, going forward, while I'm traveling in the next couple of months, so that after August, what I'll be doing for Friday Sews is I've now got about a dozen sewing craft books from authors who have been on Sew Organised Style podcast. And what I'm thinking is to pre-record a bunch of book reviews so that they can go out as my Friday Sews during those periods. That's my thinking. That's what I'm going to try and do. Thank you for coming into my sewing studio. My name's Maria. I'm known as Velo Sews on social media. Happy sewing, and may your unpicker be close to you. Cheers, everyone. Bye.